and welcome to another life story coming to you live on Lifestories Worldwide. My name is Alan Jones. We bring you stories from all across the world, and the stories go out all across the world. We bring you stories of people who've gone through all types of trials and tests and different struggles, and how they've come through and how those lives have been transformed. We're live on StreamYard, on Zoom, on Facebook, and YouTube, and also we are live on our own website. You can watch this on the website lifestoriesworldwide.com. I encourage you to go to our website. You'll find lots of information there about life stories. You'll find how you can contact us too on that website. I would like to give you an invitation to our Life Stories convention, which is going to be held in Newport, South Wales, on the 28th of October. You will find information about that on the website. We have a wonderful speaker, Dave Smethurst, who shared his story on Life Stories. I'd also encourage you to become a partner with Life Stories and help us in spreading this message all over the world. Well, tonight we bring you a story from the UK, from the northeast of the UK. We have a wonderful guest tonight. I'm going to introduce in a moment, Graham Seed. Graham was a former football hooligan from being very young, and he spent 4 years in prison. He spent quite a number of years in prison, and at his worst, he could drink 28 pints of cider without any problem. And he got involved with a football hooligan gang, which he'll be able to share with you. But he's also had other experiences in his life and seen God work in a tremendous way. So I'm going to hand over to Graham now to share his story. Thank you, Graham.
Thank you, Alan. Thank you very much. Hello, everybody. As Alan said, my name's Graham Seed. I'm from Middlesbrough in the northeast of England. And I just want to say a couple of things, really. One is, when I share my story, I wouldn't never boast about anything. I don't think I'm clever or anything like that, but I'm going to share. And also, I don't lie. I found out my life was very much a lie, but now I live by the truth. And I found out very quickly that, Jesus said, if you know the truth will set you free. And I was always looking for the truth, to be fair. I was always looking to where I'd fit in. And I usually start my story in school, in prison, in churches, wherever I am. Around about the age of 9 and things start happening in my life. I become very curious about why I didn't have a dad when everybody seemed to have a dad. Even my friend who didn't live with his dad, and he all of a sudden tells me he's going to see his dad, and I'm wondering why I haven't got a dad, and I'm wondering what's going on there, Anyway, so I found out that I don't need a dad, apparently. I've got my nan and granddad and me mum, and they tell me they love me. And that word love was a fascinating word when I was young, and it became a fascinating word when I got older. But around about the age of 10, my mother got married, and she went to live a couple of miles away from where I was living. And it was really, as though I didn't say this, but it really hurt me a lot. And we were living in a kind of a nicest estate. I wouldn't say it was posh, but cars had tax on. And one of the things I did notice was milk bottles on the doorsteps. And where I was from on the estate, you didn't have any milk on doorsteps, put it that way. But nevertheless, I became a bit of a recluse after my mum had got married, and felt a bit vulnerable, and sometimes was given words of abuse about my family situation. My nana went to a mental institution every day of the week, and my granddad was very hard working. They both were in the World War II, and I was searching for something. And I look back now and realise I've become very selfish, and I was searching for something to make me happy, and if that word love was real, I was going to go and try and find it. When I was 11 and a half year old, I started to notice this gang, a gang of men. They were different. They had no hair and wore boots, and they had tattoos, and they seemed to be very well respected in the town. And by the time I was 12 and a half, I was a member of this gang. I was with them. 14 and 15, that I was up with lots of criminal activities, and it's quite odd because when I was in town in Middlesbrough, the police knew my name. It was kind of a badge of honour. It was a good thing, and it was a status. It was a street thing that I thought was really good for them to know my name. And I ended up getting involved with a lot of bad stuff when I was 15. Someone had died, and people were interviewed, including myself, about this lad's death, and it was a shocking time. And anyway, when I was 16, I ended up going to jail. I went to Middlesbrough Detention Centre in concert, and got out of there. And not long after that, my granddad died, and my nana was obviously distraught, and my nana was very poorly. She took a lot of tablets and a lot of medication, like actual medication, but she would tell me she loved me, my nana, but I couldn't believe anyone really when they said they loved me. It didn't seem real. And of course, in this gang, no one said they loved each other. It was something they would never do. And anyway, after being in prison, my granddad dying, I got very reluctant to join these skinheads again, and I wanted to go on another route, really. So I remember being sat in the pub one night, and there was a load of men came in, young men with all these nice clothes on. It was a Saturday, and they'd been to this football match, but they said they'd been fighting at this match, and really, really kind of excited me that there was all these people, and they were talking about nightclubs and stuff like that. Well, anyway, I started to go to football matches, but obviously I'd been in another gang before then, and I didn't really know what you had to do, what you had to wear or anything like that to go to these matches.
Lifestories Worldwide is on YouTube, and it's very easy to subscribe to our channel. Just click the bell and subscribe, and receive notifications of when we are live, or simply watch any of our other videos. So check it out and give us a visit.
So when I first went to a football match, I stood out like a sore thumb. Not because I'm good looking, but because I'm really tall, because of what I was wearing. And I soon realised that to be a football hooligan, and like these men wear, you needed money, because they all wore these fancy clothes, nice clothes, tracksuits and trainers, and they all had like smart haircuts, and so I started to start finding out I would get money. The only way for me to get money was to steal, to rob, and then I started selling counterfeit clothes. But I was interested in these matches because I started to like the way they dressed, but also there was a big number of these men and some women that went to these matches, and they kind of give you a lot of attention. And it wasn't until I was in prison again, I went to a borstal called Diabold. When I got out of that borstal, I ended up going to the matches again and getting right back into it. And I've had a lot of injuries. I've been cut across my eye here, so I didn't see it. Took a lead Stanley knife and had a sword across my head. And I've had a bottle in both my eyes. I had my little finger chopped off, and I've been stabbed in the arm and chest 4 times with no front teeth. And the last major incident that happened to me, I had both of my shoulders pulled out the sockets. And spending all the time in prison, and for me, I didn't see, I couldn't see anything else. There was know the life for me. And I suppose the worst time of my life at that time was when my nana died. You know, I was 20-year-old and she died, and it was like devastating. And I felt a lot of guilt, you know, a lot of like sadness of my promises to her and what I'd been doing, and wondering, you know, I could never say sorry to her, and kind of started haunting me, and probably didn't realise that things were coming into my life then that were not good. Feeling a bit down and low, and but I was getting worse as well. When my nana died, I was getting worse, and you know, I'd go to these matches, and you know, I'd drink more, sometimes take drugs, but not like the hard stuff that I ended up on, and ended up starting not to care about myself so much, you know. I found myself in prison again in 1989, and I was very, very low at this point when I went to prison, and got out of prison in 1990 September. And you know, I was thinking that in the prison about all the times I've been injured and left in other cities, and never got my lift home, or I've been locked up, or wondering about all these times of losing my freedom. And I thought, I need to do something else in life, so I'm going to change, and I'm going to go and live somewhere else. I ended up moving to a place called Wakefield, and I got a job at my Stores catalogue firm, and life seemed to be okay. And then I started stealing from the factory and got the sack, and wondered what I was going to do. And really, I'd only been left Middlesbrough 2.5 months, and I thought, I don't really want to go back, because, you know, I've told everyone I'm going to leave, I'm going to change my life, and I'm going to make something of myself, and felt a lot of pride, you know. And so I started working on the doors of a nightclub and a pub, and I was making money that way. And New Year's Eve of 1990 to 1991, my dream of changing my life and living in a different area and going straight, it fell apart. I hit a man in the nightclub, and he was an undercover policeman. I ended up getting arrested and going to prison. I went to Leeds, Army Jail in Leeds, and got very, very, very low in that prison. Just felt like a total failure. Just didn't know where I was going to turn, didn't know what I was going to do. So get released from prison, and the only thing in my life at that time that I thought about giving me some hope was when I get back to Middlesbrough. I was on the train expecting, I've told some people I'm coming home, and I'm excited about getting home, and maybe, you know, going drinking and partying and eating food in restaurants, and just acting like someone I wasn't, you know. Someone really who didn't deserve nice things, and but I thought I did. Thought I did deserve them, and so I ended up getting back to Middlesbrough, get off the train. There's no one there waiting for me, and I kind of thought that I started making excuses like I used to when I was young, when there was only me locked up, or there was only me stabbed or something like that. I'd make excuses up why that happened, and I did exactly the same. I thought, well, they must have not known I'm here. You know, I'm home. I've got the days wrong, and so I went about the town that day and bumped into people, and people would say to me, "Now, Gran, where have you been? We haven't seen you for a while." And I'm thinking, well, I've been gone nearly 4 years, and you're saying you haven't seen me for a while. Not that I was expecting them to be saying he's Gran for mayor and a big band, but I did think someone would be, you know, wondering where I've been and having a chat with me and being like looking for me, but it didn't. And I remember that night, you know, got out and drank, and anyway, that over that Christmas of '92, I started to like go really downhill, drinking so heavily, and 1993 come, and I've been sleeping anywhere I could really, and still quite smart, always good looking, but I was really low. And anyway, cut long story short, I ended up walking on this street. It was on Linthorpe Road, on the Grange Road. And there's a McDonald's on the corner. And as I walked on the corner, I could hear this music. And I walked up, and there was a bench there. And it's outside the Middlesbrough's main post office, and on Grange Road. And all these lads and lasses were there, and I didn't realise it was a red light district. But I knew that street well. I knew the people who were there, and it was a very dangerous street. And I remember sitting on that bench and talking to these lads and lasses, and what are you doing? And it was like nearly the end of February, and they were saying, "Oh, we're just celebrating Christmas."
Lifestories Worldwide is broadcast live every Monday night at 8 p.m. UK time. We broadcast on YouTube, Facebook and StreamYard. Why not join us every Monday night at 8 p.m. UK time for Lifestories Worldwide.
Can't believe it, they're still celebrating Christmas at the end of February. They have this great big music blaster thing, like ghetto blaster they called them, and drinks and cannabis, and people smoking heroin and things like that. And anyway, that night I sat on that bench and everyone went, and I thought, right, I want to live here. This is what I've enjoyed tonight. I want to live here. This is my home. And sure enough, that's where I lived for 3 years. First year I was drinking. The second year I was taking heroin as well and crack cocaine. And the third year I was really low, really desperately low. And I'd become a real tramp, And what happened was a lot of my friends said they couldn't work it out, because I'd gone from being a really, really smart dressed lad with a good physique and to a tramp. I mean, a terrible, terrible tramp, and didn't care about me, didn't care about anything. And so in March 1996, I was sat there one Friday night, and this story's going to get really good now. And I was sat on this bench, and this man come up to me. It was a Friday night, it was a normal night, it was an everyday night. I'd been begging for money, and think I've got a few bob to get some drink, and hopefully get some heroin off someone. But I've got my drink for the night, and stuff like that. And this man come over and he went to me, "Hey son, do you know Jesus loves you?" And I chased him. I think I said to him, "Please leave me alone," in French. And but they came back the week after. And I remember saying to this man, like, I can't even remember which one it was, but I said to one of them that night, I said, "Listen, there's no such word as love." I mentioned it when I first began. This word love is not real. It's man-made. It's a manipulation tool. And what happens if you want somebody, you tell them you love them. And as for Jesus, man, that's how I about Jesus when I was young. And my nana didn't have such a good life, so you can go away, I don't want to know. But that year of 1996, August the 9th, 1996, I went into a coma. Now, because of how I'd lived for 3 years, not eating, drinking water, and living out in the cold, I'd got some real major things wrong with me. Hypothermia, pneumonia, my liver was packing in, I had kidney failure, I had severe dehydration and severe malnutrition, I had septicemia, and I was dead. That was it. There was no response from me, and just transferred me from one hospital to another hospital, blue lighted, and when they found me, they wrapped me up in foil and put me in a bag, and people walked by and seeing Gran getting put into a body bag, and within at least 15-20 minutes it was around Middlesbrough that I was dead. And but I ended up, as I say, in this coma, and my mother being called to the hospital, and she didn't really want to come, but when she did come, she was told that these are the forms, turn the machine off, that's keeping them breathing. And they went away, and my mum said I need a couple of hours, and she walked away. And these men came who told me about Jesus. Pete and Aidan and Nicky had been, well, it wasn't just them, but they were the ones who came to the hospital. And they asked my mum if they could pray for me. And they came into the room where my mother was, into this little room where I had all these tubes coming out of me, intensive care room. And they prayed for me, and it said, in the name of Jesus Christ of Nazareth, give this man new life. And I woke up. I pulled the ventilator machine out my throat, and it's because I was choking when I woke up, and I was alive. And my mum went running for the consultant, Dr. Cove Smith, and said, listen, you told us he was dead. You wanted me to turn the machine off, and yet he's alive. And after getting examined and slipping back to sleep, the man went, he made a remarkable recovery. So it was a miracle. It was a miracle. My mum said it's a miracle. And she says that in my video. When you watch my video, you see it. But then I was in hospital for nearly 7 weeks, and nearly 7 weeks, and I had to learn to get a walk again. And I was in bed for 3 weeks. I couldn't get out of bed because obviously my legs wouldn't move, and very ill, very poorly. I was having lots of tests done. I'd go down to CT scans and bloods took, and urine every day just about. And I had a lot of time to think, and I thought a lot about my past and hated it, really hated my past. I hated what I'd done to people. I would threaten my mum and my stepdad and my nana and my granddad and everyone. I just hated what I'd done. And but when I came out of hospital, I went to live in another estate called Winniebanks, where I'd been living for a while. And I remember living in the back bedroom of a house, and someone put a video of David Hamilton, an ex-UVF terrorist, in there. I remember watching it and thinking, wow, this man's like telling the truth. I really believe him, that he found Jesus in prison. And when I found it, he really did. He really had changed. And so I asked these Christian men, Pete and Aidan, where can I find out more if it's real? And they told me to go to an alpha course, and I went to an alpha course in 1996 and didn't really listen. But when it came to why did Jesus die, I was blown away, because I didn't realise that Jesus died for the likes of me. I was a self-confessed scumbag who didn't deserve anything and couldn't come to terms with forgiving myself, and hated me at times. I didn't like me because of what I'd done, and here I was now being told that Jesus died for me, what a scumbag and a dirty, low-life tricks I've done. And yet this man Jesus died for me. And I went back the week after and the week after, and on November the 9th, 1996, at 2:45, I said to Jesus, if you were real and you love me, you'll come into my life and help me and show me you love me, because words aren't enough. I said, I've been told I was loved by lots of people that wasn't real. And there and then I fell on my chair and started to cry. And I really knew that the three important things in our life that we need to know is who we are, where we're from, and where we're going.
If you would like to speak to us here at Life Stories Worldwide Radio, you can, simply by dialing +44 7943 550287. Call us now